Welcome to the Mary Potter podcast. This week, we're diving into the wizarding world of flash fiction with a magical probe into two wild tales. You sent us these intriguing snippets, and we're ready to unpack the magic and mayhem within them.
Yeah, some really compelling stories this week.
Our first story, The Last Necromancer, presents a unique take on a figure often shrouded in fear. We'll explore the challenges faced by a teenage necromancer, misunderstood and feared by their village, yet possessing a power they may need to save it. Your sources highlight the internal conflict of this character and the prejudice they face.
Right, and it really makes you think about how we treat people who are different, even if those differences might be exactly what we need.
Absolutely. And then we'll delve into Evocation Unleashed, a classic tale of raw magical power gone awry. We'll examine a reckless teen who accidentally amplifies his evocation magic to dangerous levels and must then find a way to control it and fix the chaos he unleashes. Your interest in those aha moments should be satisfied as we track his journey from menace to potential savior.
From zero to hero, almost.
Almost. Our mission today is to extract the most compelling insights from these flash fiction stories, focusing on themes of prejudice, responsibility, and the unexpected paths to heroism within the magical world. Get ready for some surprising twists and turns.
I am. Let's do it.
Okay, let's start with The Last Necromancer. Now, when you hear necromancer, you might think of shadowy figures and, raising armies of the dead. But this story flips that on its head, focusing on a misunderstood teenager whose necromantic abilities, feared by their village, might be the very thing needed to save it.
Yeah.
What struck you about this initial premise?
Well, what's immediately compelling is the inherent conflict. The logline sets it up perfectly.
Yeah.
Hated, feared, but desperately needed. A teen necromancer faces the judgment of the living while battling an enemy only they can defeat.
Right.
It presents a paradox. The community's savior is the one they ostracize. This raises a key question for us. How often do we misjudge individuals based on their perceived differences or unsettling abilities?
Yeah, it's like that classic trope of, the chosen one is the outcast.
Right.
And it makes you think about how we label people without really understanding them.
Exactly.
It's right there from the opening scene, isn't it? A disgraced funeral, the earth refusing to settle, and the villagers are more terrified of young Rowan than grieving their fallen hero. It instantly throws you into this atmosphere of intense prejudice. What does that kind of immediate fear tell you about the villagers' worldview?
It speaks volumes. That immediate fear speaks volumes about ingrained societal biases. Their understanding of necromancy is likely rooted in folklore and fear of death itself. Rowan, by their very nature, challenges their comfortable understanding of life and death, making them a target of suspicion, even before any specific actions. It makes you wonder how often fear of the unknown dictates our reactions to those who are different.
That's a good point. It's like we're programmed to fear what we don't understand.
Right. And instead of trying to understand it, we just push it away.
Exactly. And Rowan's backstory adds another layer. Their lifelong fascination with death. Sketching tombstones instead of, the sun or birds or whatever normal kids sketch, leading to their own parents locking them away. It wasn't a choice to be different, it was inherent. How does this kind of upbringing, this isolation, likely shape Rowan's view of themselves and the world?
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. I mean, imagine being locked away by your own parents. That isolation likely creates a deep internal conflict. On one hand, Rowan possesses these unique abilities. On the other, they've been taught that these abilities are monstrous. This could lead to feelings of self-doubt and a longing for acceptance that they've never experienced. For you, the listener, it highlights how societal rejection can impact an individual's self-perception, regardless of their true nature.
It's like being told you're broken from the moment you're born.
Right.
How do you even begin to form a healthy sense of self with that kind of baggage?
It's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
And it emphasizes the importance of empathy and understanding in our interactions with others, especially those who are different.
Absolutely. Then the raiders attack, forcing the villagers to confront their prejudice. They desperately need Rowan because they can't properly bury their fallen hero, and they know the consequences. It's a stark contrast. Fear versus necessity. What does this moment reveal about the limits of prejudice in the face of a real threat?
This is a crucial turning point. It shows that while prejudice can be deeply ingrained, survival instincts can sometimes override it. However, it's important to note that necessity doesn't necessarily equate to acceptance. The villagers are turning to Rowan out of desperation, not a change of heart. It raises a question for you. When you need help from someone you've previously shunned, does that erase the past prejudice?
Right. It makes you think about whether those villagers truly changed or were just acting out of self-preservation.
Yeah, it's a question of whether they would have treated Rowan any differently if they hadn't needed their help.
Exactly. The necromantic ritual itself is described as like wrestling a cranky toddler, which is such an unexpected and humanizing detail.
Yeah, I love that.
It really undercuts the typical, dark magic trope, even when the hero is revived. Confused and annoyed, I might add.
Yeah, he was not happy about being brought back.
Not at all. The villagers' fear persists. Why do you think that initial fear is so hard to shake, even when faced with evidence to the contrary?
Because it's deeply rooted.
Yeah.
That persistent fear highlights the power of ingrained beliefs. Their understanding of necromancy as inherently evil is so deeply rooted that even witnessing a seemingly beneficial outcome doesn't immediately change their perception. It speaks to the cognitive biases we all hold. We tend to look for information that confirms our existing beliefs and dismiss information that contradicts them. What preconceived notions might you hold that are difficult to change, even when faced with new evidence?
That's a really good question for our listeners to ponder. It's easy to get stuck in our own ways of thinking.
Right, we all have those blind spots.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. The revived hero's ghostly sword can't harm the living raiders. It's a moment of failure that then paves the way for Rowan's innovative solution. Instead of drawing on death, Rowan uses their own life force to empower the hero, making his blade solid. It's a huge sacrifice. What does this unexpected act of selflessness tell us about Rowan's character despite the way they've been treated?
It shows their true nature. This act of self-sacrifice is pivotal. Despite the years of mistreatment and fear, Rowan's instinct is to protect. It suggests an inherent goodness and a strong moral compass, even in the face of societal rejection. For you, it raises the question, where do our inherent values come from? And can they persist even when we are consistently met with negativity?
It's like they're choosing compassion over bitterness.
Exactly.
Even after saving them, the villagers remain terrified. The hero's parting words, "Good fight, kid. Shame about being, well, you," are just brutal in their honesty.
Ugh, that line gave me chills.
Right. There's no sudden acceptance.
With
What
that-
does this lack of immediate change underscore about the nature of prejudice?
It's not easily overcome. That final interaction underscores the deeply entrenched nature of prejudice. One act of heroism, even a life-saving one, is often not enough to dismantle years of fear and misunderstanding. It highlights the long and often arduous process of overcoming societal biases. It makes you consider what sustained effort is required to truly break down prejudice, both in ourselves and in society,
It's a reminder that change takes time and consistent effort.
and that we have to be willing to challenge our own assumptions and biases.
But internally, Rowan has a shift. They're weary, they want to argue, but they realize their power can be used for good. Not for acceptance, but because it's the right thing to do. It's a powerful moment of internal heroism. What can we learn from Rowan's decision to act based on their own moral code, regardless of external validation?
It's about integrity. Rowan's decision is a powerful example of intrinsic motivation and moral courage. They choose to do good, not for reward or recognition, but because they believe it's the right thing. This highlights a crucial aspect of true heroism. It often comes from within, independent of external approval. It prompts you to think, what are your own internal motivators for doing good, even when it's difficult or unacknowledged?
It's like that saying, be the change you want to see in the world.
Exactly. It's about living by your own values, even when it's hard.
So Rowan chooses to protect those who fear them. It really challenges our idea of where heroism comes from.
It really does.
Let's pivot now to our second flash fiction story, Evocation Unleashed. This is a different kind of story, focusing on raw, uncontrolled magical power. We have Milo, a reckless teen who amplifies his evocation magic with disastrous results, and then has to try and fix the chaos he unleashes. What's your initial impression of a character like Milo?
He's kind of a walking disaster. Milo presents a fascinating contrast to Rowan. Where Rowan's power is feared, Milo's is initially just, well, chaotic and misdirected. The opening description of him as not just bad at evocation, he was a menace, immediately sets the stage for a story about the dangers of unchecked potential. It makes you consider, how often do good intentions go awry due to a lack of control or understanding?
I mean, he doesn't sound like the sharpest tool in the shed.
No, not really, but I think there's something relatable about his enthusiasm,
Yeah.
even if it is misplaced.
Though he wasn't just a little clumsy with magic. We're talking rogue fireballs, lightning targeting his own eyebrows, and then the legendary incident with the flooded villages and the dupe's very unhappy wine
Oh,
cellar.
yeah, that one's infamous.
It paints a picture of someone with raw power and zero finesse. Why do you think he's so drawn to this volatile branch of magic despite his track record?
It's the allure of power. Milo's attraction to evocation likely stems from its direct and impactful nature. He's probably drawn to the idea of wielding powerful forces, even if he lacks the control to do so effectively. This speaks to a common human desire to push boundaries and achieve great things, sometimes without fully considering the necessary steps or potential consequences. Can you think of times in your own life where you were drawn to something powerful without fully understanding its implications?
I mean, who hasn't been tempted by something shiny and dangerous?
Right. It's a natural human impulse. But the key is to temper that impulse with wisdom and caution.
So frustrated with his failures, Milo seeks out forbidden knowledge and gets his hands on a scroll titled Amplifying the Evocative Spark. The incantation is complex, but he manages it, and the result is spectacular and instantly out of control. A raging fire in the practice chamber, far beyond anything he's done before. What does this moment of amplified power, quickly turning into disaster, tell us about the nature of knowledge and power?
Responsibility is key. This moment underscores the idea that knowledge without wisdom or control can be dangerous. Milo sought to amplify his power without the necessary foundation of skill and discipline. The immediate loss of control highlights the delicate balance required when wielding significant force, whether it's magical, technological, or even personal influence. It raises a crucial question for you. How do you ensure that your pursuit of knowledge and power is tempered with wisdom and responsibility?
Yeah, it's a good reminder that power without control is a recipe for disaster.
And that true mastery requires discipline and restraint.
The fire becomes this uncontrollable entity, forcing Milo to unleash a chaotic tsunami just to contain it.
Talk about fighting fire with fire.
Right, so there he stands, soaked and surrounded by wreckage. The reality of what he's done sinking in, it's a moment of dawning realization. What's the significance of this shift from excitement to panic for Milo's development?
It's a wake-up call. That shift from excitement to panic is a pivotal moment of accountability. Milo is forced to confront the real-world consequences of his recklessness. It's the first step towards understanding the responsibility that comes with wielding magic. This experience of facing the fallout of our actions is often a necessary catalyst for growth and learning. Can you recall a time when you had a similar moment of realizing the impact of your actions?
Yeah, I think we've all had those moments where we realize we've messed up.
Right. And it's how we respond to those moments that defines us.
Instead of immediate punishment, Milo is summoned by the king because a volatile portal has appeared, and his particular brand of uncontrolled power might be the only thing that can seal it.
Oh boy, talk about being thrown in the deep end.
Right. What does this unexpected opportunity for redemption suggest about how societies sometimes deal with those who cause problems?
It's a chance for atonement. The king's decision, though perhaps born of desperation, offers Milo an unexpected chance to atone for his mistakes. It suggests that even those who cause significant problems can be given an opportunity to contribute to solutions, especially when their unique abilities are required. It makes you ponder, what are the conditions under which we offer second chances, and what responsibility does the individual have to seize that opportunity?
So it's like they're saying, okay, you messed up, now fix it.
In a way, yes, but it also acknowledges that everyone has the potential to contribute something positive, even if they've made mistakes in the past.
Milo is sent to the portal, accompanied by skeptical battle mages who see him as a poorly secured bomb. The portal itself is terrifying, a rip in reality spewing smoke and nightmare creatures. The regular army is overwhelmed, it's a high-stakes situation, and all eyes are on Milo. How does this kind of intense pressure likely affect his focus and actions?
Pressure can create diamonds. The intense pressure of this situation likely forces Milo to focus his usually scattered energy. The sheer scale of the threat and the lack of other options likely override his impulsivity, compelling him to channel his power with a newfound sense of purpose. Sometimes extreme circumstances can bring out unexpected levels of focus and determination. Have you ever found yourself performing under intense pressure in a way that surprised you?
Absolutely. I think we all have hidden reserves of strength that we tap into when we need them.
Right. We often discover we're capable of more than we think we are.
Okay. And in this critical moment, Milo acts decisively. The complex incantation flows easily. Driven by desperation, he weaves fire like a net, sealing the portal. But it takes a huge toll on him. This act of control born from chaos is really striking. What's the significance of him finally channeling his volatile power with such precision?
It's a breakthrough. This moment marks a significant turning point in Milo's journey. He moves from being a conduit of raw, uncontrolled magic to a wielder with intent and precision. The act of weaving fire demonstrates a level of mastery he previously lacked, suggesting that the near disaster and the subsequent responsibility have forced him to learn and adapt. It highlights the idea that true skill often emerges from facing challenges and pushing our limits.
So it's like he's finally learning to harness his power.
Exactly. And it shows that even the most reckless individuals can grow and change when faced with the right circumstances.
In the aftermath, the battle mages who were initially so wary show him respect, calling him evocator. It's a huge shift in their perception. What does this recognition signify for Milo's standing within the magical community?
It's a new beginning. This recognition signifies a potential turning of the tide for Milo. He has moved from being seen as a dangerous liability to someone who has demonstrated courage and skill in a critical situation. It suggests that actions can indeed speak louder than past reputations, and that earning respect often requires demonstrating competence and responsibility.
It's like they're finally seeing him for who he could be, not just who he was.
Exactly. And it gives him a chance to redefine himself.
But the title evocator feels strange, heavy to Milo. He's not sure he deserves it, yet amidst the ruins he feels a flicker of something new, a hint of control. It's not a complete transformation, but it's a start. What does this ambiguous ending suggest about the ongoing nature of growth and change?
It's a journey. The ambiguous ending is important. It acknowledges that while Milo has taken a significant step forward, true mastery is a journey, not a destination. The flicker of control suggests the beginning of a new path, one where he will need to continue to learn and refine his abilities. It reminds us that personal growth is an ongoing process with its inevitable ups and downs.
So it's not a happily ever after, it's a to be continued.
Right. And it leaves us wondering what choices Milo will make as he continues to grow.
So as you've heard in these two flash fiction stories, we've explored very different paths. In The Last Necromancer, we saw the impact of societal prejudice and how unexpected individuals can rise to protect even those who fear them. It really makes you consider who we might be overlooking or misjudging in our own lives.
And with Milo in Evocation Unleashed, we witness the consequences of unchecked power and the potential for redemption through responsibility. His journey underscores that even significant mistakes can be a catalyst for growth and positive change. It prompts you to think about how you handle your own power, whatever form it takes, and how you respond to the consequences of your actions.
These brief tales offer so much to consider about our own perceptions and potential. We hope this magical probe into these Wizarding World flash fiction stories has given you some food for thought.
Indeed. These stories remind us that heroism and growth can manifest in unexpected ways, and in individuals we might initially overlook or underestimate.
We encourage you to reflect on the themes of prejudice and the burden of power as you encounter other stories. What other characters have defied expectations? How do others learn to control their abilities? This is just the start of our exploration into the wizarding world of flash fiction. Rate and follow the Mary Potter podcast for more wild tales from this fascinating world.